we have one more segment to talk about after the season is over
Yes.
now. We have Bob's bad tweets.
Postseason Bob.
One of our favorite horrific social media Twitterers, Bob Nightengale from USA
And
Today.
would you call him a White Sox insider? It's hard to tell
Well,
because
this is
the
this is
information's right about 50% of the time.
it's not good. He doesn't have good information. We've learned this over the years.
Did Eduardo Escobar not make the playoff roster, or was he just never on the team?
Yeah, I'm still looking for him on the roster in your stocks. Right, I did not see him play in the playoffs for you
He
guys, so
is a
I'm not
free
sure.
agent, though. He is a free agent. So
Yeah, as Bob Nightingale famously, basically said that it was a done deal that Eduardo Escobar would be on the White Sox before the trade deadline, and still hasn't happened. So his credibility as a White Sox insider is kind of dwindled. But Bob decided, for whatever reason, he needed to tweet out yesterday that one day, of course, after the White Sox exited the playoffs, he had to tell the world that Craig Kimbrel is expected to be signed to his $16 million team option and then traded. And there's a lot of questions I have about this tweet. There are no grammatical errors. I was proud of Bob. Full sentences, no spelling errors. It was
you know what?
He may have taken his time. It was in the middle of the day, so he maybe hadn't had his bourbon yet or something.
Whatever he does.
Yeah, whatever that man does.
Cocaine.
But, there's a lot of layers to this one, especially. First of all, the timing. Why is this being talked about the day after? This is the day after their a bad playoff loss. There's a couple theories, I guess, out there, and is this a leak from the White Sox getting it out there that we're going to address Craig Kimbrel right away, and essentially making him a scapegoat for what's happened? They got to give a face to this disappointing loss. Is Craig Kimbrel the reason why this all happened? And if it is, we're going to address this. We're going to sign him, and then we're going to fucking trade him. The other theory is that Bob's just trying to get his name out there, and he's just, the way he worded it is, Craig Kimbrel is expected to be signed and then traded. Well, is this Bob expecting this to happen? He didn't quote sources or anything else. And this is what the weird thing about Twitter and social media is in general for journalists. What is this a story? It became a story only because he tweeted this out, but he didn't cite anyone. There's nothing to back this up. It's just expected, and he can hide behind that. He could just say, well, yeah, everyone expects this, or it could be literally just him expecting this. So I thought it was strange, but I don't know. What did you find this as strange as I did? Or
yeah, I found it really strange. Again, we'll never know if there was almost an Eduardo Escobar deal in place, but let's hypothetically say
we
there
broke
was.
this down.
Right?
He may have ruined that trade. If
he could have ruined that trade, and now he's essentially, if this is the White Sox fan, he's essentially devalued a trade, because if every team in baseball knows they're just signing him, they're picking up his option just to trade him away.
They know they're desperate to get rid of him.
So, yeah, what are you going to give up?
I'm glad you pointed out, because beyond that, even the logic is,
it's far. So it's way too risky.
Well, first of all, it's simple.
You just don't pick up the option.
The oldest adage in the book: do not buy high and sell low. Well, they bought as high as they could get on Craig Kimbrel, as he had basically a 0 ERA with the Cubs. Gave up their second baseman of the future and a really, really solid middle reliever.
Yeah. And
now they would be trading him at his absolute depth of value, the lowest value you could possibly have right now. I mean, this is as bad as he's been. This is what he looked like
when he first got to the Cubs. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Cubs held on and got the best out of him, and they may have their second baseman of the future and a solid middle reliever. So I really hope this is not, I cannot believe this is Rick Hahn's logic, that he would trade him in the offseason. And specifically in the tweet, it would say he would be traded this winter. So it was not like they would trade him at some point. This is the same thing I went over this past offseason with Chris Bryant. You could not trade him in the offseason, as idiots like Dave Kaplan on the radio wanted their pound of flesh because they're so angry they didn't make the playoffs last year. You got to make these guys pay. We'll trade everybody off. You do not trade assets at the lowest point in their value. It's fucking stupid. It's economics. This is the simplest thing. If you want your franchise to be successful, you don't waste assets like that. You do everything you can to boost their value. And the only way they could wait for the only thing they could do, with at least with Chris Bryant, was wait till the trade deadline, and that worked out quite well, actually. Or I don't know how well that is considering how bad the Cubs were, but it worked out exactly the way I thought it was going to, and that they would wait, boost hope beyond hope. That is, he would have a decent first half and be able to get something for him, rather than being angry and emotional and trading him out of spite for no good reason other than spite. And so the idea that the Sox would be doing the same thing is stupid. So I don't believe that's going to happen.
No, I think they're just not picking up the option. Why?
Well, that's a whole different thing. I think that'd be almost the same thing, though. That'd be giving up on an asset for nothing.
Well,
what it costs you $16 million to hold on to them.
Yeah,
I think they should do the same thing.
Better spent elsewhere.
Well, so you're giving up on Kimbrel. This might be a lot longer offseason conversation.
Well, I mean, he's not an 8th inning setup guy, and that's his role.
Why is that his role? Why does that have to be his role? We've already talked about this. We talked about this months ago, that he needed to be at least experimented with in the 9th inning or wherever. But I think that's a failure of Tony La Russa, basically not to try him, not to really give him a shot at the 9th and see if Hendricks could actually thrive in the 7th or 8th or wherever they need him at the most highest leverage point at the end of the game.
I mean, I guess if the idea, though, I'm following you on this one, Smitty. I guess if the idea is to sign him and trade him at the deadline for possibly something else, you could, in the first half of the season, use him on and off as a closer, have his value up quite high, and then trade him to someone who's desperate.
You've got a spare closer right there. I'm assuming you guys are going to be really fucking good again next year.
Especially after Marcus Simeon's our second baseman and comes back home.
I'm not sure you need to trade anybody. I don't see why suddenly, 3 months after everyone in the world is so ecstatic about how incredible your bullpen should be after trading for Craig Kimbrel, why that can't still happen. Why it's impossible. I think it's very possible. I think we agreed that he was misused, and I think you can experiment. There was no experimenting. And I think that's the failure of your manager.
TLR?
Yeah. So I think it just comes back to everything is ridiculous about Bob's tweet there. I don't think it makes any sense. I think it's bad journalism, but that's where we are these days in the world of social media. Yeah, exactly. So
remember, you and I have talked for years about just going on Twitter and making up trades at the trade deadline.
Why not?
A source has told us.
I think we should get deeper into Craig Kimbrel in this offseason. I think that'll be a fascinating thing. But I just on the surface, it makes no sense to trade him this winter.
No, it doesn't.
If things go south during the season, for whatever reason, then you got to gamble at least.
I mean, if you pick up the option, then you use them,
it's
right?
Money. It's only money that you're gambling.
I can tell you one thing right now. If they do pick up the option, it is going to be entertaining and annoying on Twitter from White Sox Nation.
Well, that's why that theory exists, that the White Sox leaked that out there to give Sox fans their pound of flesh. It's this guy's fault, and we're going to take care of it. And I don't know. I don't know that I'm connecting dots there.
Yeah,
but the reaction of Sox fans.
I think it's 100% number 2, though. Bob just hasn't had his name out there in a while, so he needed something.